So now they're all working. 116.1.
Hi, my name is Caroline Chow, and I'm an associate lighting designer. An associate lighting designer helps put on a production, assists the lighting designer with whatever needs to happen to put up the lighting for a show. The associate lighting designer basically takes care of all the details, so the lighting designer doesn't have to worry about them. And it may involve coordinating the schedule with the production manager and the stage managers, taking care of notes that the lighting designer may not need to worry about, keeping track of the cue list, the follow spots, and making sure they know what they're supposed to be doing and when. There's definitely a level of trust involved between the designer and associate to be able to take care of notes and to understand the concept behind the design and how the lights are meant to look, how they're meant to focus, how they're meant to be cued in a show. Having a design eye is definitely important as an associate lighting designer. That's something I think that's very important for the designer, to be able to understand where they're coming from and to recreate what they're doing, or to be able to step in and take care of the show if the designer's not available, or to finish cueing, or to take the show on the road, for instance, and recreate the design. I did a little bit of theater in high school, and in college I started doing more backstage work. And I worked on a show that was incredibly moving, and I was just amazed at how it affected audience members. And I worked on the lighting for it, and that's when I decided that I wanted to continue and learn more about lighting. But when I got out of college, I looked for an internship, and I worked at Arena Stage as the lighting fellow, and moved around a little bit after that. And worked at the Santa Fe Opera in their lighting department. I'm going back, and this is my 10th season there. And met designers. When I moved to New York, I just started freelancing as an assistant and associate. The beginning of the process might start with going to production meetings, the planning process, working with the design team, the director and set designer and the lighting designer, deciding what needs to be seen, things that need to be lit in a specific way, scenic pieces that might need to be electrified. And then the designer will plan out the lighting, and I might help draft the paperwork and the lighting plot for production. And then it goes into the load-in period. The next step of the process would be focusing the show. So after the scenery is loaded in, the lighting is loaded in, and pointing all the lights on stage, and then we would go into tech. The scale of Spider-Man is very large, so just the sheer number of lights, the number of cues, the number of things that need to be coordinated in terms of scenery and props, it's just a lot to keep track of, and a lot to make sure that everything's ready for a show to happen. In some ways it's very colorful, it's just kind of reflecting the comic book sensibility of the show, and in other ways, other scenes are less colorful. But one of the interesting things about the show is the amount of flying and how to light everything that's happening out in the house as well as on stage, and make sure the focus of the audience is in the right place. The lighting designer for Spider-Man is Don Holder, and I've worked with him for several years. I've helped him with regional shows and taking them to different theaters, and assisted him, as well as been an associate on musicals and plays. He's always overlapping shows, so he's always working on the next show while he's in tech or in the theater. This is the script with all the lighting cues and the follow spot cues written into it. Last night was the first preview, and we get new script pages with revisions, new lines and cuts every day. So we update our pages and Don's pages as well. On a play, it's definitely shorter. For instance, The Mother with a Hat, there were only maybe 4 days to tech it, versus Spider-Man. The second version we've teched in a couple weeks, and the first version took about 2 months. And on the play, I was the only person assisting Don on the show, and it's much smaller scale. The set doesn't move as much, many fewer lights, and less moving parts in general. Some people are quite happy to stay associate lighting designers and enjoy that challenge. And other people want to be or are designers themselves and do an addition to their design. And I think working with different designers as an associate lighting designer is very valuable because you get to see a lot of different people and their processes and how they work. The challenge of lighting is very interesting to me, how it changes every day and how every production is different and may have a different concept. And supporting the production design and the director and making people look where they're supposed to look. I think it's important as an associate lighting designer to be able to communicate with people, to really be able to talk to a lot of different people and different personalities. And also to be able to lighten the mood. You want to be someone who is enjoyable to have at the tech table and to see every day for hours on end. All the different people that I get to work with and all the terrific people that I get to meet and work very closely with for maybe a short amount of time, but the friends that you make also along the way.